Do you want to make thousands of dollars using your undeniable NBA knowledge? If so, you're in the right place. In this episode, we're going to show you
how to make money, make money.
Using NBA best ball on Underdog. Welcome to Game Pick Fantasy Basketball. I'm your host, Robin Marks. You can connect with me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Game Pick Podcast. If you love NBA best ball, points leagues, dynasty leagues, Sleeper's new Game Pick format, please consider subscribing on all platforms. And please stick around until the end of this episode because I'm going to share the most controversial tip to help you build an unbeatable best ball team. So what is best ball? Best ball is just a different format for fantasy sports. Specifically in the NBA, it's something that's new. It's only been around for a couple of years. And also, I believe it's underappreciated. And this season, we want to bring some light to it. Unlike typical redraft leagues, there's no in-season management. So you're not playing a waiver wire. You don't have to make trades. You don't have to even set your lineup. Basically, you draft a bunch of players, and then the platform you choose actually selects the player that scored the most in those starting positions. So where do you play NBA best ball? There are a bunch of platforms that actually host best ball leagues. However, for me, there's only one, Underdog Fantasy. I really love Underdog Fantasy. They have a user-friendly interface. It's quite intuitive. And also, they have a community that they're building. So a bunch of the players who are in the NBA best ball community are active on Underdog. Now, here are the top 7 tips for NBA best ball. Number 1, you have to take a deep dive on projections and rankings. There are very few options out there in terms of NBA best ball rankings. So you know how we do. I went ahead and created my own. To grab your copy, all you have to do is make your first deposit on Underdog Fantasy and use the promo code gamepickpodcast. Once you make your deposit, just send me an email with a screenshot. Number 2 tip, value hunting. This is something you probably do in your redraft leagues in fantasy football and fantasy basketball. But here, with best ball, it's critical. And unlike ESPN or Yahoo, when you're drafting for fantasy basketball, you can actually trust the ADPs of Underdog Fantasy. So if you're getting a deal on a player in terms of their ADP value and it works for your roster construction, I would just go ahead and pull the trigger. Number 3, prioritize upside late in your draft. It's very important for you to grab those players, especially rookies, later on in your draft that could help you and potentially be a breakout star. Number 4, don't draft too many bigs. Unlike redraft leagues on platforms like Yahoo and ESPN, if you grab like Clint Capella, Cat, and somehow you grab the Joker as well, you could probably play all 3 night to night because of utility spots. On best ball, that is not the case. In NBA best ball, you don't have multiple utility positions. You have one flex spot. Number 5, it's okay to take the same top players in multiple leagues. Last year, most of the teams that won championships had the Joker or Embiid. They had a really, really dominant big. With that said, if you draft teams that you don't want to have the teams look the same, for example, you might be doing yourself a disservice. So if you get that first spot, I would grab the Joker every single time. The players that you draft after those top tier contributors are the people that you want to find the right combination of players. Number 6, it is very different than NFL best ball. For example, in NFL best ball, it's very common to stack players from the same team. Where in the NBA, you could be actually capping your upside if you do that. Number 7, be mindful of positional scarcity. Like I said earlier, you can only play a few centers. So centers are plentiful in the draft. You can grab a bunch of late round centers if you wanted to, so that way you could fill out your roster. However, there is a shortage of elite wings. So you want to be mindful of that. And also, positional scarcity can be unique to your roster build. If you're constructing a roster where you drafted a bunch of guards at the beginning of your draft, you want to start thinking about what quality wings are available in the middle rounds. And speaking of positions, you got to understand the language in best ball. Unlike ESPN or Yahoo, it's not guard, forward, small forward, power forward, center. They break it down guard, wing, and bigs. And you also get one flex spot. Any position can fill the flex spot. For your starting lineups on Underdog, you get 2 guards, 2 wings, 1 big, and 1 flex. You also get to draft 10 bench spots. I know I promised to share the most controversial tip to make your best ball team unbeatable, but before I do, I want to tell you more about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the best place to play fantasy sports, including best ball, daily drafts, and pick'em. Start drafting in minutes for a shot at big cash and an enhanced game watching experience. Sign up today and use the code gamepickpodcast, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. It's like getting free money. Don't miss out on your chance to double up from the jump. To sign up, just download the Underdog Fantasy app on Android or iOS. Now, the most controversial tip to make your best ball team unbeatable. Draft 6 to 8 guards. Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, what I would do, I would focus on early on in your draft, grabbing a dominant big or two. Grab a dominant big or two if you can. Then focus on grabbing a couple dominant wings. Once you do that, I would lock in and grab some of those guards who have upside. I'm talking about Colin Sexton, Jaden Ivey. All of these players that could potentially have breakout seasons can be the players that take you to that championship level. So again, this is not regular ESPN Yahoo redraft league strategy. This is unique to best ball. Please be mindful of that. And just to let you know, the data shows that the people who performed well last year in Underdog Fantasy NBA best ball had at least 6 guards. If you want me to unpack any of these tips further, please drop a comment and let me know. And please join our brand new Discord server if you need help with best ball, game picks, trades, dynasty questions, team names, the works. All you have to do is hit the link in the YouTube description of this episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, share with a friend, and hit us with a thumbs up, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget, play the waivers, set your lineups, and subscribe to Game Pick, you freaking fantasy nerd.